Speaking of race series, touch on some of the whether it's ones you did last year or ones you're planning on doing this year. Some of the race series you get the kids involved in, and kind of what makes them a little bit different from each other.
I got you. Okay, so 2019 was a big year for us. Actually, we ran a couple of different series. We started the year by going down and running as a warm up race the first full gas sprint enduro, which was something that we wanted to do for a while. It had been a few years since we had done one. It was out at Boyer Farm, Brian, shout out. We did an ECA race on Saturday and went, what year was that out at Boyer Farm, Brian? We're going way back now.
Yeah, that's way back.
Five years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, so you're talking, 2016, out there at the farm, maybe 2015. We went out and did just one day at a full gas. That series was just getting started. I think maybe it was in its second year. And, so we went this year, 2019, went out and hit the first full gas down at GTR Complex. Great race. What a cool series. It kind of made me think all year long how I wanted to do some more of that. And that's what we're planning on kind of doing this year. I know we got a good group going down in 2 weeks, about a week and a half, I guess, at this point.
I'm sitting that one out. I got to make sure I'm in one piece for Costa Rica.
Are you sitting that one out like you sat out the Hangover Hair Scramble?
It's a totally different story. Totally different story.
More on that later. So we went down and did that race, and it's a great series. Had a great time. Family friend growing up racing the Mama Mid-Atlantic Motorcycle Association here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Jason Hooper puts on that series. Was cool. I used to sleep over at Jason's house and jump dirt bikes across the street in front of his house as a kid. So to go down there and race that series he's putting on was great. And like I said, it opened our eyes to doing some more of that year. Sprint enduro format, the kids love. Maybe love, hate. Austin loves it. Mason hates it. Mason hates it. Austin loves it. They can't make up their mind. But you're racing the clock. It's not the full-on hair scramble format. Then we got into the SXCS series, and that was a series that we had kind of helped with the race, the Hangover Hair Scramble in 2018, and then had talked to Billy about, getting involved and doing more with that series, and decided to help him out with the scoring. And we hit every race in that series, and what a great series they've put on for last year being their first year and then getting here, going to their second year. All you guys here in this room have been there, and hopefully a bunch of people listening to this podcast have been there. Great series. I'd say what I love about that is it's a promoter driven series. Which unfortunately I think is kind of the future of the sport. There's not a ton of money to make in off-road racing. So if you're putting on one race a year, I don't know how you're going to sustain that. So a promoter driven series, where, you got one guy designing the courses, one guy, reaching out to the sponsors and doing all that stuff. And the way they've treated the kids and the fun days that they add to their events and the way they make it a whole weekend of riding, really enjoy that series.
Yeah. If you guys have never gone to one, I highly suggest you do. With my kid, he loves going because most of the time they have a fun ride the day before. And I've also sweep ride all of the races, and some of those courses are probably the best courses that I've ever rode on. And
yeah, they're just like a little different courses than, a guy going, the guy brings equipment and works on those courses. And if there's a messed up spot, he takes that piece of equipment back there and makes it right for the race. And then,
I think they're really designed by an actual, pro caliber racer. So
Billy is,
he'd want to ride on.
They're fun. They're just
top 100 AMA national guy. And it's what he kind of does, for a living. Trail pros, course design, track design, course construction, off-road construction type stuff. And they're a little more open, a little more flowy, a little more fast. Billy's a big supporter of the full gas series. He likes to go fast through the woods, and that's what these courses are. I know, we went down there to Northern Neck there at the end of the year, and it was a pretty long course, and they were turning some pretty quick lap times. So I know that was a pretty quick course. And
yeah, and the biggest thing I think, you touched on before about technique for your kids. I think the great thing about this series is seat time. They get that opportunity to practice that before the race or after the race.
Absolutely. And then, the home where my heart is and has been for many years is clearly the the ECA series, being the youth coordinator for that series for years, and trying to make the best youth series here on the East Coast or even in the country is our goal. And that's a huge series. We have an amazing youth turnout. The thing that sets that series apart from any other youth series is our format. We give the kids their own day all to themselves. And these kids we have peewee races, which are basically your 50s, and junior races, which are your trail bikes, 110s, 65s, and then our youth races. And these kids can, depending on their age, they can race their 50, race for 45 minutes to an hour there. They can get off that. They get a short break if they want. They can race their 110, or if they're big enough or experienced enough, they can get on their 65, and they can go out and race their 65 for hour, 15 minutes, whatever that be, depending on their skill level. And then, this year we had a kid, Cameron Popek, then jump on an 85 because, he's 7 or whatever his age, 8 years old, jump on an 85 and race that for an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on your skill level there. We are giving kids a crazy amount of competition, crazy amount of seat time. We get 160 riders, 150 average at one of those events. And that's where the competition is here in this region, in this area for youth racing. SXCS is getting started. We talked about them. They'll grow that youth series. I'm trying to help them there. If you go a little further south for us, we're in this Maryland area where you either got to go north or you got to go south to find some racing, and then west, which I haven't really dabbled out west with the ACES series or anything out there. That's right. A-Works. Haven't done any of those events. But if you go south, even to like VCHSS, we went down there for AMA East race, which we can talk a little bit about AMA East. We went down there, and it's like they didn't even keep score for their kids, for like, they call them Horizon riders. It's like we just want kids to ride motorcycles and be friends. And it's like, no, I want my kid to go out and win and do his best. And we want points and we want championships and stuff like that. So we stay away from the VCHSS series just because it wasn't a form of competition for us. We went down there for that AMA East, and both the boys won their classes 7 to 8 and 4 to 6 in the 50s, and it was like, okay, this is interesting. So we go online and we can't even find lap times. They don't even post the lap times online. You can't even see how your kid's doing.
That sounds like some of those sport, like basketball, baseball, stuff like that, where we don't, participation awards, and we're not keeping score. Everybody's keeping score. We know who finished the race first.
Yeah, they did give out awards for the day, but like I said, it was something like they don't post the results online, or they don't keep track of points. It was something really weird, and that turned us off. I mean, I live a quarter of a mile from the Virginia border in Maryland, but I won't go down to that series to race, just because we're not here for fun. I'm spending an incredible bankroll to go racing. And
well, and the other thing is the kids are out there competing. Yeah, and while they're out there, I mean, one of our kids crashes in front of the other, they're going to run them over. But after the race, they're going to shake hands and they're going to play and they're going to have fun. Like, you can have the competition on the track, but still be friends off the track and have a good time the entire weekend.
Yeah. And then, the last series for us for 2019, not that, those couple weren't enough, full gas, ECA, SXCS. We chased the GNCCs. Austin had an incredible year in 2018 on his 65 in the ECA, won the junior championship there. And we decided to see, I wasn't going to put him back on his 65 in the ECA after winning the 10 to 11 class in the junior overall. And that I said, we're not going to do that again. So we went GNCC racing, and a lot of people are turned off by the cost and everything of the GNCC series. I'm a huge supporter of that series. The recognition on a national level, even from your kid getting on the podium and getting tagged in an Instagram post, whatever it may be, what a great series. The format's great, the national recognition, as I said, and just a good time. And like I said, the cost, they do some pretty cool stuff to offset the cost if you really think of it from pre-entry. So we were running down there and we were running, what did I say? We were running 3 classes: Aubrey, Mason, and Austin were all running down there. $30 pre-entry, but you get $20 to Rocky Mountain. You know what I mean? So it's $10 a class.
Well, it's that, and then they also had events going on during the course of the weekend. Because I went to a couple. I met you guys in Florida because I happened to be down there for that round, and then we went down and ran
Camp Coker.
Yes, Camp Coker. This is not to say that ECA or SXCS or any of the other series you named off aren't good series, but this is a national level series. Like, we've got factory back racers out there. Like, they're bringing in the trucks. We've got, it's kind of like going to a supercross or motocross event. You can go buy the event t-shirt. Like, it's a big time thing. You've got, I don't want to say sponsors, but you got vendors showing up there that you can go buy products. I know you and I bought some of the, what brand was it? The air filter cleaner.
Oh, Twin Air. The Twin Air
Twin Air.
stuff.
The Twin Airs.
Love that stuff.
You can get some good deals on it, but it's a really fun event. If they, my personal opinion, if we just get rid of the four-wheelers, no offense to those guys.
Yeah, that course gets speed up a little bit.
What was that, Dave?
A sneeze.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Luckily, they moved the 50s to running before the quads from years past, from what I understand, talking to some guys that did that stuff. But yeah, great series. They love the kids down there, the extra events they do, the venues. I mean, we were down there, the kids were rope swinging into ponds, having a great time. Everybody's turned off by the cost, man, but to see the smile on your kid's face, getting on that level of a podium, getting interviewed with 100 people standing there, getting your picture posted.
Even the 50 races, there's at least 100 people gathered around that podium.
Yeah,
that's a big time podium they've got set up.
What a great time, and just being at an event where there's, you go to an event like Snowshoe where there's 30, 40, 50,000 people there. It's just, it's next level. It's,
and that's always a good one to bring the significant other, right? Because you're at a resort. Like,
yeah.
you can't get much
if you ever
better
want
than
to
that.
taste a GNCC, that's the one to go to. Your wife can be at the spa, and you can be back in Howard's Hole pouring beer over pro riders as they go through the mud. But I loved the GNCC series this past year. We had some great finishes. Austin got some wins down there. Mason got on some overall podiums on his 50. Aubrey podiumed a couple times. Came up short, didn't get ourselves a national championship. Ended up second in that series, but what a good time. I'm going to take a year off from that. To Florida to Indiana to Ohio to New York it was a lot of traveling, many, many miles this year. But I think 2021 might see us go back that way just for the fun. I mean, if I can make a recommendation to any parent, don't just stay one place. Go everywhere you can. Try everything. You can race everywhere you can, race different competition. If you're going to the same place every time and your kid's getting beat by the same kid every time, the kid's just going to accept that this kid's better than me, and that's just the way that it's going to be. I mean, yeah, I've seen my kids do that before, and that's not what you want. Go out there and race kids that you don't know. Your kids get a different mindset when they get into that. I'm the big dog at home. I'm down here, going to come down here. Or maybe I'm the number 2 or the number 3 guy at home. Well, we ain't at home anymore. I'm the number 1 guy down here.
Exactly.
And you can tell your kids that, and they don't know any better.
And depending on where they're racing, there's different track layouts. So maybe you're used to racing super tight, super technical stuff, and maybe you're the third fastest guy, but we start getting on some more wide open type trails, I might be the number 1 dude at that point.
Yeah, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
And you're saying you're thinking of maybe taking a year off of the GNCC, but what race, if you were going to go to one this year, which one are you going to go to?
I mean, we're already going to Snowshoe,
and I'll
just
be there
to do it, which sucks for you though, because there's no micro racing at Snowshoe.
That's not why I'm going, my friend.
Dave's
Howard's Hole.
Dave's going for Howard's Hole. He's seen a couple too many YouTube videos, but I mean, you can't not go. If I had to recommend one after that, and unfortunately, we were going to do it this year, but it conflicted with another event, Camp Coker. I mean, that
was a really fun event.
It wasn't a horrible drive. Shoot down 81, cut down through there, and the soil was good. Sand some quads, going in there and tearing it up.
Is that the one with the rope swings?
That's the one with the rope swings. What a great venue!
YouTube video on that one. Maybe I'll link that in the
rope
description
swings
or something below.
Are the rope swings big enough for
Absolutely
for me and you?
Absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
and they have the high
people that
dive
weigh
up
more
there.
than their bikes
Sasquatch approved.
Sasquatch approved.
in the bushes.
Great time. Camp Coker was great. Florida was cool for our first one, except for driving through the night 12 hours to get there with Mason sick and, not being able to finish our race for Mason. And then going down there and Austin being 13 feet away from his first win at his first GNCC and giving it up was a heartbreaker. But great venue down there, great dirt. I mean, when you come into these events, man, they have the GNCCs, they have the whole town, everybody behind it. You roll through these towns and welcome race fans and the whole 9 yards. So great series. I recommend, go try one without a doubt. I mean, you might be turned away by $20 for an adult to get in the gate or $15 for a kid.
But it's more of again, not to take away from the other race series, but this is more of an event to attend.
It's an experience.
Yeah, it's definitely experience. Don't go there for your kid to race Saturday morning and go home.
Yeah.
Go there for the weekend, man. You'll see some cool stuff.